Are you looking for the best coolers on the market? In this video, we will look at some of the best coolers on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Coleman 70 Quart Xtreme 5 Marine Hard Ice Chest Cooler. Why it's great. The Coleman 70 Quart Xtreme 5 Marine Hard Ice Chest Cooler is a tremendous value if you're looking for a spacious, reliable cooler. Not only that, but it's sized so that you can still move it and carry it with reasonable ease. It fits in most cars' trunks and works great as extra seating. It can support up to 250 pounds. The Coleman Xtreme weighs 13.4 pounds empty. Even when it was filled with 60 pounds of ice, our testers still found it manageable to carry for a short distance. If that weight or size seems intimidating, Coleman makes a similar model with wheels. In our testing, the Coleman Xtreme kept ice frozen for a full week, 170 hours, 30 hours longer than the Igloo Max Cold, 140 hours. It measures 28.4 by 15.8 by 17.5 inches. Its design incorporates bevels and angles all over the place, and it has a ruler and cup holders molded into its lid. Insulation obsessives may want to fill those cup holders with styrofoam, but considering how well this cooler performed in our tests, doing so doesn't seem to be all that critical. The most noticeable functional difference in the designs of the coolers we tested was in their drainage ports, and because we were draining these coolers upwards of 3 times a day for several days straight, we learned quite a bit about what works and what doesn't. Unlike most of the other models, the Coleman Xtreme has a channeled drain, which made draining much easier and required very little tilting on our part. The Coleman Xtreme features replaceable hardware, whereas some of the company's cheaper models don't. This is an important detail because the first thing that will wear out on a cooler is either a hinge or a handle, and having affordable replacements means a cheap repair rather than a brand new purchase. At the moment, you can buy Coleman's replacement hinges and replacement handles for less than $10 each. Flaws, but not deal breakers. Coleman makes many nearly identical versions of the Xtreme cooler. We don't know why they all have such similar names and such different looks, but according to sources within Coleman, for practical purposes they are all identical where it counts, in insulation and build materials. We consider all of these models to be part of the same line. At number 2. RTIC 65 Cutie Hard Cooler. Why it's great. Most roto-molded coolers are 2 or 3 times more expensive than they need to be. The term refers to a manufacturing process that creates uniformly thick, and therefore extremely durable, plastic walls with no seals. Of all the models we tested, a group that included the wildly popular Yeti Tundra 65, the RTIC 65 Cutie Hard Cooler emerged as the best for the price and performance. It's just as tough as any of its competitors, and it keeps ice from melting for just as long. That said, most people do not need a roto-molded cooler. They're big. They're heavy. They carry less than other, same-size coolers because of the amount of insulation they're packed with. In short, they're impractical for most mundane needs, a fact that has stopped absolutely no one from buying them in record numbers. The RTIC 65 weighs 36.5 pounds and measures 32 by 17 by 18 inches on the outside. It has enough space to hold 65 cans or 70 pounds of ice. Unlike several other competitors, the RTIC 65 has 2 drainage ports for quick cleaning and draining. RTIC also sells a 45-quart version if you need something smaller. Similar to any other true roto-molded cooler, the RTIC 65 is practically indestructible, which makes it great for tougher outdoor environments. In our testing, the RTIC 65 kept ice frozen for 10 days with some periodic draining. We've also used this cooler for nearly 5 years for grocery runs in Hawaii, and it's still going strong. One charm of the RTIC 65 is its reasonable price, which allows us to be far less careful with this equipment than we are with something as expensive or desirable as a Yeti. A close-up of one of latches on the side of the RTIC hard cooler. The RTIC 65's rubber latches are less substantial than those on other roto-molded coolers, but so far the latches on our test unit have held up fine. Photo, Rosette Rago. The RTIC 65 has rope handles with a plastic tube for gripping and 2 rubber latches for holding the lid closed, mimicking the design of most other, comparable coolers. Flaws, but not deal breakers. GearLab pointed out that the rubber latches are the one weak point of the RTIC 65, the sheer stretchiness of the rubber latches on the RTIC gives us concern for their durability and longevity. Though we yanked on everything, including the flexible rubber latches, we couldn't get them to break, which gives us hope. We do worry that they may stretch a bit during regular use, becoming looser over time. The rubber hinges are also somewhat smaller than those on other rotomolded coolers, such as the Yeti. However, we've used the RTIC 65 in Hawaii for 5 years now as our go-to grocery carrier and haven't had any problems with the rubber components. As a grocery hauler, it's perfect for the task. The thick insulation easily withstands the heat of the sun, even if we leave the car parked for a day. At number 3. Yeti Tundra Haul Hard Cooler. Get this: if you think it's unfeasible to lug a large cooler by its handles over long distances, the Tundra Haul pairs the indestructible nature of all rotomolded coolers with top-of-the-line handles and wheels for moving it around with ease. Why it's great: Yeti famously commands a premium price for its products, usually about a third more to twice the price of their actual material value. That said, occasionally the over-engineered leeway that Yeti creates for itself allows it to set the standard in certain categories. The Yeti Tundra Haul Hard Cooler is expensive, but when you're choosing a wheeled model, it's worth paying for hardware that won't break or strain under heavy loads. It has taken us a few years to recommend a wheeled cooler simply because none have seemed built to last longer than a season or two, especially in the handle. Once loaded with ice, drinks, and food, a 37-pound cooler can more than double in weight. When someone then tilts the cooler up, all that weight goes into the wheelbase or leans into the handle hinge. The arm of the Tundra Haul is made from a thick-gauge welded aluminum, the quality of which you can feel immediately when you lift it. The wheels are a single construction plastic and not hollow or feeble-feeling as on so many other coolers. Remarkably, when we lifted this cooler fully loaded with cans, food, and many pounds of ice by the handle, the experience didn't feel that different from wheeling around a high-end piece of luggage. One other plus: this cooler, like all variations of the Yeti Tundra, is certified bear-resistant by the IGBC. Flaws, but not deal breakers: one feature we'd like to see is a little more internal division, or at least the ability to add a divider. Once you tip your cooler up at an angle, you should expect the contents to shift around a bit, and it would be nice to have a little more control over that situation as you shuffle and roll your cooler across, say, a boardwalk or a pool deck. At number 4. RTIC Soft Pack Cooler 20 Can. Why it's great: the RTIC Soft Pack Cooler 20 Can has a design similar to that of the Yeti Hopper Flip but costs less than half the price. That low cost brings some compromises, of course, and if you want the absolute best quality and the most durability for the price, the Yeti Hopper Flip is the cooler for you. For most people, however, the RTIC Soft Pack Cooler will be plenty. The lid of the Soft Pack Cooler is capped by more than 2 inches of closed-cell insulation, half an inch more than in the Hopper Flip, and the walls of the Soft Pack Cooler are a touch thicker than those of the Hopper Flip. Head-to-head, all that extra insulation seems to give the RTIC cooler an insulating edge, though the difference in daily use remains marginal. That said, when you compare all the details, the hardware, the stitching, the material design, the Yeti cooler is all but guaranteed to last longer with daily use. As with all soft coolers, you shouldn't leave the RTIC Soft Pack Cooler out in the sun or resting on very hot surfaces like the back of a pickup truck or on top of a picnic table for a long time. Although the exterior of the cooler is made of a durable, thickly coated nylon, waterproof and tough, the sun and heat will degrade the material and slowly wear it out. Flaws, but not deal breakers: the waterproof zippers on the RTIC Soft Pack Cooler 20 Can aren't as easy to manipulate as those of the Yeti Hopper Flip. The RTIC cooler's zippers are slimmer and require a little more effort to open and slide along. We also found that the shoulder strap on the RTIC cooler was a little short, at least for taller testers. After 7 years of testing and considering several dozen soft coolers, we've come to the conclusion that, given enough time, many will inevitably break or degrade. And the soft coolers that truly are better quality cost nearly as much as, if not a lot more than, a hard cooler. A soft cooler offers some benefits: its malleability and lightweight make it easy to carry, especially as a backpack. But judging from our experience, we don't think you should expect a lifetime of use out of a soft cooler unless you're paying top dollar. At number 5. Polar Bear Original Nylon Backpack Cooler. Get this: if your favorite picnicking spots or beaches tend to be farther off the beaten path, or you often find yourself with your hands full of other gear or children or both, This backpack is easy to carry on your shoulder while you take care of more important things. Why it's great: most soft cooler backpacks have issues. Either they're uncomfortable to carry when fully loaded with drinks and 20 pounds of ice, or they're not particularly good at keeping things insulated. Across all our testing, nothing in this price range performed as well and as consistently as the Polar Bear Original Nylon Backpack Cooler. It kept our things cold for longer than many models and was just as comfortable to carry. A person walking with a Polar Bear nylon cooler strapped on their back. If the original nylon backpack cooler were any larger, it would start to get uncomfortably heavy, even for a good-sized man. This particular one in the photo stands 6'3" and weighs 220 pounds. Its long, narrow shape keeps the weight close to your body. Photo: Kaylee Waldman. The original is made with an exterior of 840 denier UV-resistant nylon wrapped around open cell foam. Technically less insulating than closed cell foam, open cell foam performs fairly well for most applications as long as the cooler isn't left in the open sun. The original can do exactly what you need it to do, which is to keep things cold for the day while you focus on the fun at hand. Flaws, but not deal breakers. Although this backpack cooler was as comfortable as any we tested, few backpack coolers are actually all that comfortable. A cooler like the original nylon backpack cooler is useful for carrying your food and drink for a medium distance when your hands are full with other things, such as a beach umbrella, a coconut, or the hand of your young child. But you wouldn't want to go on a long hike with it or any of the other models we tested. We've tested Polar Bear coolers for 7 years now, buying them or receiving test units from Polar Bear. For a long time, Polar Bear led the way in soft cooler designs. Recently, however, we've been let down by the lifespan of its soft coolers, though not this backpack in particular. But with care, you can extend the lifespan of any soft cooler. The number one rule seems to be not to leave it out in the sun.